What is going on, true believers? I hope you're having a great morning. My name is Bleeves. We are pumping again. The earth is healing. Nature is fixing itself. So I hope everybody's feeling a little bit better about the market today. Seems like we've got that recovery that we've been looking for, but it's been a very curious recovery because guess what? The Bitcoin ETFs are slowing down. Now, is that just a take profit trend? Would be the question. And actually, of all the people in the world, for me to say, hey, this guy's actually right for once, Peter Sniff. Most of you know him as Peter Schiff, but let's go with it. Peter Sniff, he said something very, very interesting. When you're in these ETFs, then you are subject to market hours. So if you have a drop in the price, then you can't sell until the next day. So you could miss out on potential gains or a catastrophic drop. So it was very important that that was pointed out, which also applies to QQQ, which was gold. And he didn't want to hear that, which is very odd. Like, why wouldn't you want to hear about it? I mean, that's your project, isn't it, bro? So very, very, very peculiar. Peter Schiff, he just kind of wings it and goes with like whatever, bro. You know what I mean? So, but Bitcoin right now hovering around 67,300, having a nice little recovery from that $62,000 dip the other day. Ethereum, which had dipped down to about 31, is now back to 3,500. So we're getting some nice reversal here, and we got big news. You guys remember, and I hope that you remember. I hope you remember that I keep telling you, go check out Conflux. Well, Conflux just made an announcement that in Q2, they're going to be launching the HKD peg stablecoin with Anchor X. So Anchor Protocol showing back up somewhere. That's kind of weird, isn't it? I hope things are going to be fine with Conflux. We don't know for sure, but let's do this. We're going to run the intro. We're going to say our good mornings, and we're going to get started on the show. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleeves. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
All right, guys, things are getting a little bit crazy. So good morning. Not only, by the way, do we have what's going on with Bitcoin, but we also have the tokenization of the entire stock market perhaps coming, which I don't know how you feel about this, but that is particularly bullish. We've got Coinbase, by the way, that also says that even though the halving is going to have a positive impact on prices, there's some other factors. But the big story, the big news is Jerome Powell, king of the world, chairman of the Fed, Dr. Money Printer, as some of you might know him. He said that he said a lot. So let's say good morning and let's get this thing kicked off. Jay Locke in the house. Good morning. Brian Bootyhead's here. Mike Volmer, S Dog in the house. We got Mike Lowry. Mike Lowry is here. Mike Lowry, Martin Lawrence was actually Will Smith if you watched the movie, but Mike Lowry was I don't know if you guys watch Bad Boys, but if you did, then you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, so we got RW7610 in the house. We got Vader Prime. We got Ammon Bullet Janet. If you're not already, consider becoming a member of the channel. Helps push me up. Helps me out tremendously. There's two things that you can do to help me the most. Well, three things, I guess. Number one, hit that like button. Doesn't cost you anything. If your ass is broke, you don't have the funds, hit that like button. If you do have the funds and it's worth helping to support me at a couple of bucks a month, then go ahead and sign up for a membership to the channel. And then if you want to talk about one of your specific cryptos, then put down a super chat and we'll pull up and we'll talk about one of your cryptos or whatever your favorite one is that you want to talk about that we may not talk about here anyway. And if you want to just do it because you're awesome and you took one of my plays like Conflux, which is coming, and made a big move off of it. Or if you got in API 3, because I've been talking to you about API 3 and it jumped up 30% overnight and you're looking at it like, damn, I made a bunch of money. You know how that works. Yuri, good morning. Grant Vorshuk, good morning. Jason Pollins in the house. Daniel Volt is back to volting it up. We got John Doe in the house. Gold at an all-time high. Going to transfer over to Bitcoin as we go. Remember, there is a dip right now in Bitcoin in the ETF market. And do you know why that is? In my opinion, just profit taking. Games is in the house. Boost TS, good morning. George Lopez Garcia is in the house. Good morning. Carlos is here. Good morning. Jay Smooth is in the house. What is going on? Jay Manuel is making it happen. I wonder if John Doe is Peter Schiff himself. Mr. Arshin says, hi, sir. Bitcoin pump or dump? Bitcoin pump. We're in pump mode now. Jeff T, good morning. Ape with hat. Ape soul meme. Yeah, that one's a big one. Look, I don't get into these unless I got the first part. You know what I mean? Coins are checked more often than that. Jahab Tavish says, good morning. I'm on break at a construction job. Thanks for having a live stream during my break last couple of days. Hey, man, you got it, buddy. Every single day, same time. Tom Collide is in here. Coinbase is a piece of crap. Well, you know what? They're the custodian for all of the cryptos right now for all these ETFs. So are they a piece of crap? Probably. Does it matter to the federal government? Nah, bro. Nah, it doesn't matter. We've got, not even going to try that, but we got good morning. Trail Boss, good morning. JC in the house. What's going on, man? Happy to celebrate your second rising, third rising, whatever it was, whatever you did on Easter. I don't even know where you got eggs from, JC. But listen, man, 3 days nap. What's going on, brother? We got Xander Harris in the house. Alex Kamana is in the house. What's going on? Muera de Cagar is in the house. What's going on? Smokestream is having it. Jamal C in the house. Ryo says Stash Inu got listed on Ascendex. May you check the Stash next move. I got in at 00035 stashes on Solana. If you're on Solana chain and you're doing Stash, let's see. Oh, you got in nice. You actually got in very, very nice. All right, so let's check this out, Ryo. We've got, let's pop this up here. So you got in at 35, which is down here. So you bought in at that 75 dip, that fib retracement. So let's look at what the fib retracement would give us from top to bottom right there. All right, so you got in a little bit outside of the golden pocket. Looks like you might have got in after or before, and then you got a jump back up here to the 236. So the trend for this right now is for it to have a breakout, and the breakout going to it would look like, and this looks like it's running upwards. We've got this kind of move here. Looks like it's pushing its way back up. Could be a retest, pushing it out here just a little bit further, if you will. To get more of an idea here, pushing it out a little bit, maybe a test up here. But if there's a test up here, then we're probably going to have, it's going to be more like a channel at this point. So I would look at it to say that there's going to be a run, and that run's going to come where price exploration, right? We're going to do price discovery. We're going to hit that top again, and then price discovery up here. At least about 10, 15, 20% more, which takes you into around 94. Now, that seems a little aggressive right here. I would say more like right here, but I think you got an easy 3 to 4x. So take your original investment out. I would take my original out as quickly as I possibly could. Make sure that you're riding on house money, and then go find another one. But it looks like right now, at 6 million market cap, by the way, if you got in at 35, If you got it at 35, and I would say, um, I mean, maybe 20 million market cap, 25. If you get crazy, you get 50 million market cap. You know what I mean? Like it would have to be really crazy for it to do that. But what I would be looking for is, I would be looking in this range right here. Now, I would get my nose would start bleeding. I'd get a little bit nervous if I got back here to this all-time high and we got over that 100% pump. That 100% pump would take you to about an 8 million market cap, or thereabouts. If you're at an $8 million market cap and you've taken your original investment out, and then all you're doing at that point is riding on house money, then let it ride and see how high it goes. It's just one of those moon bags that'll just start pumping, and it'll look pretty cool. So that's what I would be going for. So that's what I think is going to go on with that one. But you never know. You know what I mean? It's up big right now. Again, I would always take out my initial as quickly as possible just in case and let it ride on house money. Speaking of letting it ride on house money, I guess I should point this one out. Now, I partnered with Sandshoe to do one video, and they launched, and then it started to tank a little bit. But guess what? It's now continuing this little buyback up 51% on the day. It'd be irresponsible if I didn't tell you that it was up 50% on the day. So a nice little run right there for Sandshoe over the last few hours. But the big news, other than saying good morning to everybody and letting everybody know, yo, what's up, my dog. Also, redoing the studio again. Everything in the back here is going to stay the same, but I got a 32-inch monitor over here, which is Ultra Gear 32 6500, blah 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 blah, 1440p. I bought another one that's going to go over on this side of the with the brackets and all that kind of shit. So I'll be able to look all the way across my computer because I have a small screen. I have 3 screens. One of them is very small, and I didn't think about it. I thought like just going to be my chat window. But I don't need a small chat window. I need a big chat window for big chat. You know what I mean? Big chat. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way, on the way in. I'm feeling it today. I think this is going to be one of those days where crypto really takes a real move to that upside very, very soon. I think we're going to start to see something really start to rip. I think that we're going to test one of those new all-time highs. Did I buy the dip? I bought, so I got into Luna Classic, I got into Myro, and I went long on both of them. So I'm risk on for this morning right now. And Luna Classic was having a nice little rip earlier, so that was a pretty good one. And then Myro was having a nice little move, but I bought Myro on this dip. So when it dipped down, I got back in because I do. I mean, I do a lot with Myro all the time anyway. I don't promote them. I don't, you know what I mean? But I see Myro pumping, and it seems like it's a pretty consistent sort of pattern. If you just buy at the bottom and sell at the top, you can continue to earn more and more SOL. So that's basically what I've been doing. So anyway, let's get into the news. News is kind of crazy here. And oh my God, how is my... There we go. All right, so Bitcoin. Let's talk about Bitcoin first before we get started with Bitcoin. The important thing is the Fed meeting today. Everything that Chairman Jerome Powell said. They're looking for confirmation of last year's low inflation readings. And Powell said this. They're seeking confirmation is moving closer to the 2% target, even after the hotter readings, which, of course, anybody who doesn't like Democrats is telling you, it's all going to go up to 900 million, billion, trillion, jillion percent. And it hasn't so far. They've been wrong about it all. But when they see one hot spike, they're like, oh my God, it's happening. It's not happening yet. I mean, it could. Doesn't mean that it can't. But it's not really happening. The other thing is, in the second half of the year, you had some pretty low readings. I'm quoting Jerome Powell. So it might be harder to make that 12-month window forward. Nonetheless, we're looking for data that confirm the low readings that we had last year and gives us a higher degree of confidence that what we saw was really inflation moving sustainably down to 2%. Then strong hiring would not push the Fed to delay rate cuts. Continued strength in the labor market wouldn't be a reason to hold off on lowering interest rates, which we already knew, but we do need confirmation from Jerome Powell of that because he said that will not be part of it. Strong hiring in and of itself would not be a reason to hold off on rate cuts. An unexpected weakening in the labor market could also warrant a policy response. Higher inflationary data hasn't changed its overall trend downward. And that's the important part. Even if we had a spike recently, we're still looking at general trends to the downside, which is getting us closer to rate cuts, which is basically turning the money printer on, if you will. Major inflationary data points rose for both January and February. Fed chair thinks that this data is just further proof of inflation's nonlinear path downward. I think that we haven't really changed the overall story, which is that inflation moving down gradually is sometimes a bumpy road towards 2%. We're not going to overreact over these 2 months of data, nor are we going to ignore them. By the way, should be noted, the entire Midwest right now is paying about $4 a gallon for gas, or $3.50 a gallon for gas, because one of the largest refineries in the Midwest broke down. And when I say broke down, I'm not shitting you, okay? This refinery is a few miles away from me. It's called BP Refinery in Whiting, Indiana. It's on the Lake Michigan. So they shut down for an inspection, which was going to take a period of time. And of course, they shut down because it drives prices up. I mean, look, we're past thinking that BP is a good actor in anything. So in this, what they did was very wild. They shut down for 2 weeks to do an inspection. They found a dead body. They found a skull. They found in the piles of stuff that's around BP. Like, there's piles of stuff all over the place at a refinery. Well, during their inspection, they found a dead body. So they've been shut down for an extra 2 weeks. Like, all you have to do, like, here's the thing. All you have to do is shut your refinery down for an inspection and then kill somebody, and you can push gas prices up. Fucking BP, man. Like, I'm pretty sure they plan. I bet it's a plastic skull even. You know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ. It's just unbelievable. And the fact that they run at record levels of profit while you struggle means what they're doing is they took that quantitative easing, they took all of that money printer stuff, and all they did was just raise prices and raise prices and raise prices until you start bitching about it. You haven't protested, you haven't taken to the streets, you haven't started screaming, you haven't started hollering, you haven't had the federal government step in and do anything about it. So it's not a big deal. But that's what they're doing, is they're just seeing how much you can tolerate. And by the way, I'm not saying something that you didn't see in the government anyway. This is exactly what they're going to do. They're going to price gouge you until there is no more price to gouge you with. So anyway, Powell also says they need a good reason not to cut rates. And what they said, the Fed what they really want is a soft landing, stronger growth, lower unemployment, higher inflation, and yet still no change to the median dot. So what they're saying is they think that we're walking kind of a risky path, but this is what they're doing. Investors are relieved to see 3 cuts stay in the dot plot. And here's the thing. Jerome Powell did not break down that there won't be 3 rate cuts. And that's, what you want is you want him to make sure that everybody has a realistic expectation. But he didn't stop and say, well, we're not considering 3 rate cuts. So incredible what might be happening here. And no decision yet on balance sheet reduction. The general sense of the committee is that it will be appropriate to slow the pace of runoff fairly soon, consistent with the plans we've previously issued. So the Fed's balance sheets says that you're probably going to do something pretty soon. Policy rate is likely at its peak. Powell says he doesn't believe that any more raises are going to be in the cards here. And strategists are saying that he came out with a very dovish. The details are quite dovish because they're leaving rate cuts on the table, even while projecting a slightly higher inflation and more economic growth. So there we go. Like, we've got, it's getting kind of wild that's happening right now. And then here is the weird part, right? Bitcoin surges 10% despite $742 million in ETF outflows. So Bitcoin value rises nearly 10% despite $742 million in outflows. Grayscale's Bitcoin Trust Invesco Galaxy ETF see major withdrawals, yet market remains resilient. Despite ETF outflows, Bitcoin's strong demand and optimistic metrics indicate a continuing bull cycle. So there you have what's really kind of going on over here. Now, if you look across this board and break down, Grayscale lost 642, 443, 386. Now, while that was happening, you had right here, IBIT scooped up a lot of that, right? You had that big move by IBIT right there, but then IBIT dropped dramatically the next day and the next day. So what do you attribute that to? And then you had an outflow of 10 million on Invesco. So that's BTCO. So, what is going on over here? Well, you can see here that the wealth is getting spread just a little bit. 49.3, then we got 13, then we got 18.6, then 23.3, and then 19 over here. So everybody was having nice little inflows, if you will, for the day on a very low day. I didn't take up for the fact that there were some outflows. But problem is, you got to take profit at some point. You got to take profit at some point. So what we might see today is a reversal in that one more time, that Bitcoin is actually in a pretty good situation. That is some hefty outflows, right? There that is some big outflow. However, the market, and by the way, remember, the market tends to do the opposite of what it did that day before. So we might see a dip. The U.S. market might be looking at this and saying, we're going to need to cool our jets just a little bit. They'll find reasons to cry in the details, and then of course barons and all of those poison rags are going to be out there kind of telling you, oh, you should be very scared about this. So, I fully expect for shit like that to happen, because that's what garbage in, garbage out, USA. So, I do think that we're probably looking at some wildness getting ready to happen. Also, let's move on here to get you as much information as possible. Bitcoin halving may have a positive impact on prices, but other factors are still at play. And this is according to Coinbase. And the things that they're worrying about, Bitcoin doesn't operate in a vacuum. Environment with extraordinary loose monetary policy and historically strong fiscal stimulus in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. This is what caused outperformance by Bitcoin. The recent rally in the world's largest cryptocurrency was fueled more by fever about prospects of spot Bitcoin than by the excitement over the halving. Another data point worth considering when opening up the upcoming halving is the total supply of Bitcoin held by long-term holders. Should be less likely than short-term holders to view having as an opportunity to sell into strength. Those long-term hodlers probably will not be motivated to sell. On the positive side, U.S. Fed Reserve is expected to begin cutting rates in May and to start tapering its quantitative tightening program, which is positive for risk assets. So once the tightening is over, then Bitcoin's getting ready to rip. And now here's the thing: if you go back and you start to do the math on it, and you really pay attention, what they're saying is halving is on 420, right? I think so, something like that. Halving's on 420. Within 30, 60 days, we always get that big pop. That's when Bitcoin really starts to move. Well, if that's the case, every piece of this is falling right where it needs to. May 23rd, that's where the Ethereum ETFs start. That, all of these little pieces go into place. Like, it's all starting to happen. And you're starting to see it sort of play out. We got Sativa Cyborg Fry gifted 5 memberships. Make sure you snap those up right away. We got Blake Walton looking up Skid meme coin. Let's get into Skid real quick. Let's leave what we would call a skid mark. Success Kid is up another 30% today on Skid. Look at this. Skid continues to outperform the market. Now 17 million market cap. This, by the way, if you were Stash, Ryo, this is exactly what I would expect right here. The same kind of thing. The liquidity, by the way, on Stash a little bit higher, a little bit better pairing overall. So when you look at this right here, you can see that, I mean, it's kind of ranging at the high. And I think I told you guys that, I think we looked at this yesterday, and I said that, probably breaks out from here because it came down to the 786. And what's the likely play out? And it did the likely play out. It came all the way back up and retested that top. Now the question is, will it have a breakout? Now, if you look and kind of grant here that, this thing is really kind of minting along this trend line, doing pretty well. In fact, at that, let's turn on, we've got the 9 SMA. Let's turn this into let's go to settings here, and the MA length is 20. Okay, so never mind, I actually have it. Oh, God damn it. That's the volume indicator. Show. There we go. All right, so we got a Bollinger Band right there, which is a 20 MA in the middle, by the way. And you can see we're kind of squeezing that 20 MA as we sit right now on the downside. This market it's starting to tighten up here. You can see just a little bit. This was a big opening right here, and it's starting to close up. That means that the move is coming. So it is most likely that what you're seeing is this sort of play out right here, where you're in this pennant sort of pattern, and what you're looking at is a play towards that upside to bounce to a new all-time high. And I guess I gave you guys 30 cents yesterday as probably that next big move. So if you're on skid, then congratulations. I got a sense here, unless the market corrects to the downside, then I got a sense that you're probably going to get a nice big rip coming pretty soon. By the way, don't fade Donald Trump over here. MAGA token coming down nicely, retesting some of these lower levels. It's going to rip again. MAGA is not done. It's 273 million market cap. I told you before, telling you again, it's $1 billion market cap. Just because it's Donald Trump going close to the election, it's going to absolutely bang out and rip. So, but anyway, let's get on to the next topic here. Ethereum. So it's getting kind of wild in Ethereum. So for those of you that don't know, a couple of days ago, the SEC apparently reached out to a bunch of different people with subpoenas to start asking them, because they're trying to break down and find out like something bad about Ethereum. And they're investigating Ethereum as a security and not a commodity. And they're doing that because they turned it into proof of stake instead of proof of work. So now the SEC is going to argue that that makes it a security. So that's what looks like it's happening. Now, Coinbase's legal chief argues that the SEC has no good reason to deny spot Ethereum ETFs. And he points out, again, with the ETH misinformation as we await a decision on ETH ETPs, Gruel wrote. This is Paul Gruel. We know him well at this point. He's the chief legal officer for Coinbase. Millions of Americans hold Ethereum. It's been vital to crypto since its 2015 launch, and ETH is a commodity, not a security. He went on to argue that the SEC has taken this position on its status for years, with senior SEC officials like former Director of Corporate Finance Bill Hinman speech suggesting that Ether was not a security. In the same year before becoming SEC chair, Gary Gensler also testified to Congress that Ether is not a security. Recent comparisons between Ether and Bitcoin by the SEC's own trial lawyers there we go. Crypto Daddy O says skid on Sol going to get listed on Binance soon. So that's success, kid. We just looked at it. We just looked at the price action. So if you haven't already, you might want to consider taking a shot, because like I said, this is let's pull it up one more time. This thing is ranging and it's ready for a significant pump right now. This double top right here, I don't know that really qualifies. That's a retest, and it didn't go higher. So we don't have a divergence either. So I think we're fine. You should definitely check that one out. Anyway, so he says recent comparisons between Ether and Bitcoin by the SEC's own trial lawyers in the case against Ripple Labs further illustrate that it is not a security. So we've already established that Bitcoin's not a security. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's getting kind of wild here. The SEC is trying to make that argument. The SEC has no good reason to deny the ETH ETP applications, and we hope they won't try to invent one by questioning the long-established regulatory status of Ethereum, which the SEC has repeatedly endorsed. That's not how the law works, and America deserves better. So that's what's going on with Ethereum. They're trying to turn it into a security right in front of your eyes. So wild shit going on. But let's get into some of these altcoins. First up is Conflux. Conflux aims for a Q2 launch of the HKD peg stablecoin, with Anchor X, another Anchor protocol. That never ends bad. So let's see. Conflux right now is up 5.6%, 5.77% on the day. You can see right here the last 2 days, just a significant sort of recovery coming off. And I told you guys back here a couple days ago that it would break out from 33 cents, and it did have a significant breakout. So what's it look like now? It looks like it's, it looks like it got into a little channel, descending channel, and then boom, broke out from that as well. So Conflux is one of those big ones that I think is going to end up just having a nice run. Conflux CEO Fan Long said the project is working with Anchor X to launch a Hong Kong dollar peg stablecoin as soon as the second quarter of this year. Conflux and Anchor X are conducting beta testing of AXHKD, Hong Kong dollar, designed to maintain a one-to-one peg with the Hong Kong dollar. Fan Long, founder and chief executive of Conflux, told the block in an interview that the Anchor X team is hoping to launch this stablecoin as soon as possible. We hope they could push it as soon as possible. If it's going fast, maybe in Q2, people will be able to get them from exchanges. That's the fastest possibility. But a lot of things are determined by how fast the regulatory sandbox is pushing forward. Now, here's the cool thing. You know how people trade money? If you have a Hong Kong dollar peg and you have a US dollar peg, you could actually play those against each other. So there's some opportunity right there for people to start making money off of stable coins that didn't exist previously, or at least minimally. Because remember, there were a lot of pegs that that Terra Luna had to a bunch of different ones. The Australian, it always defaults to Australian if you're doing it, but you had like the British pound. You had so many different tokens that you could do there, but very rare, right? Well, now you've got one that's going to be backed by the largest Chinese blockchain and the US dollar. So probably going to be trading on that one. Set to be launched initially in the Conflux public blockchain. Will have OK-Link Trust as its custodian for the stablecoin issuance, according to a company statement. The pair plans to come to the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, the de facto central bank, and launch a regulatory sandbox for stablecoins. The HKMA said the sandbox could help the government deliver supervisory expectations to industry players interested in issuing fiat reference stablecoins in Hong Kong. So I would be I would be looking to see, something like that is going to start. This is a pretty cool opportunity. I say one more time, get in on Conflux before it's too late. It's going to be one of those things that absolutely rips. And while we're on that subject, Vitalik Buterin highlights steps to combat centralization risks in Ethereum's staking ecosystem. He said in ETH that many ETH holders may be reluctant to stake themselves, even if solo staking becomes easier. Rainbow staking, a conceptual framework, would potentially address issues if they become prominent. Regarding staking, Buterin noted that a group of lazy stakers possessing at least 32 ETH, but choose staking pools and liquid staking tools over individual. He suggested these stakers could have opted for solo staking to mitigate centralization risks. Even if solo staking becomes maximally easy, lots of people are not going to stake. We're already relying on social pressure and virtue and things other than economic incentives to solve our problems, even as they exist today. We've done a lot of yelling at people to not all jump into Lido. We've done a lot of yelling at people to use different clients. There are a lot of people voluntarily doing those things because it's good for the security of the network, but it's not healthy to over-index on those things. And guys, when we're talking about Lido, you have to consider Lido has a $1 billion market cap. It had a nice little retracement the last couple of days with the rest of the market, but it's ripping again. It's up 7%. Caspa up 12%. Rio up 23%. But Lido is the liquid staking protocol for this entire network. And by the way, Ethereum is about to address fees. You can expect them to go down a little bit more. In fact, the fees have not been as high as they had been in the last little while. So I think that they're going to address it. What they want to do is they want to open up the channels a little bit wider, and they can do that by vote, I think, immediately, which will reduce some of the congestion and some of the fees for Ethereum. And they're anticipating. And of course, by the way, it should be noted that Ethereum fees are not nearly as hot as they were just recently. Like we ran up to 3,500, and ETH fees and gas fees right now are about 35, 36. At this point of the day, with a lot of volume and a lot of trading and a lot of stuff going on, they were at 80 or 90. Remember, not that long ago. So they did relieve a tiny bit of that congestion. So now they're looking at opening up throughput just a little bit more. And if they do that, then that's going to do the same. That's going to continue to reduce fees on Ethereum. They've already turned Base. They've already turned Optimism. They've already turned BSC. They've already turned all these different profiles into profit-inducing sort of mass adoption tools. Brian Armstrong, chief among them, said, this is actually the thing that we were looking to do. This is, this was the play. This was the move. And it's fantastic at this point. So I think that, that's something that we should be watching for pretty soon. But fees coming down. Just give it a little bit more time, and I think that you will see that fees will start to reduce themselves a lot. By the way, did I remind you guys that Gary has a brother, Ben, and that Ben Gensler is the reason that Gary Gensler got into crypto to begin with? How crazy is that? How goddamn crazy, insane is that? There's two of them. There are two Gary Genslers. Jesus Christ, 4 of those eyes out there staring at your soul. You know what I mean? Gary Gensler's SEC requests $2.6 billion to crack down on crypto, by the way. SEC, led by Gary Gensler, seeks $2.6 billion to expand crypto oversight, targeting 5,000 positions. Gensler stresses the budget will be covered by fees, enhancing SEC's ability to police digital assets. Don't you have to win cases? Don't you have to win? SEC doesn't win lately. So how are they going to finance this? Their stringent approach includes major lawsuits and efforts to classify Ethereum as a security. What they're trying to do is just trying to spend a whole bunch of money. And look, guys, they're going to lose Democrats this election. They're going to lose this election in a big way at this point because of the policies that the Democrats are doing right now. They are isolating. And by the way, there's one thing, you could be a Republican and you're going to vote Republican. You can be a Democrat, you're going to vote Democrat. There's people in the middle who are libertarians, some of which are still Democrats, that are looking at things like this. And or there's people who are young who are looking at things like this. And they're like, why are you trying to ban crypto? Like, are you retarded? And they're going to turn people into, I'm sorry, what I meant to say was, what do you have, an extra chromosome at the 23rd gene split? They're going to start frightening people off. They are starting to frighten people off. So I would be real nervous right now with what's going on with the SEC. Also, North Korea allegedly pocketed $3 billion from crypto hacks, according to the United Nations. I don't know if that's true. And Kronos. Let's talk about Kronos, because we don't use it very much, right? I don't know very many people trading on this chain. But there is a list here. If you want to go check this out, go to beincrypto.com and go check out where you can buy Crow, what it is. Kronos undertakes a forward-thinking approach to layer 1 blockchain technology as an open source, decentralized public blockchain with a delegated proof of authority consensus mechanism. Kronos distinguishes itself through its energy efficient architecture. So you can go check this and read this and learn all about Kronos, not just crypto.com, but Kronos, the entire blockchain that's built over here on Cosmos. By the way, it's a Cosmos SDK. So you can go learn a little bit about it, which means that if you're part of LUNC, then you can actually, there's going to be an easy way to bridge over to Kronos. But let's move on. Don't forget, if you haven't already, go buy yourself a bag of NEKO, because NEKO is, where'd it go here? NEKO's up about 16% on the day, having a nice little bounce off of, it still has a bit of volume here. I think this is one of those things that's getting ready to break out. You can see here, the bands right here are closing. The last time the bands closed right here and got real tight, we had this nice big spike over here, which was about that 15% gain. So it is entirely possible, if we get this little tightening right here, that we get the same thing and we get another blow off on this. Might be that we're about to get some kind of significant move on NEKO. So if you haven't already, certainly go check that out. Also, Bencoin. So as you guys might know, I do content every day now for the BitBoy Crypto channel. And some days he does it, some days he doesn't. There's no promise that every day that we're going to cover it, but the whole idea here is we got to do something about mass adoption here for Bencoin, right? By the end of this month, you're going to have Bencoin staking, and you're going to have that SIM card swap. So the people who got robbed are going to get made whole finally. Those are going to be the first couple of steps. The website's already been redesigned. The logo has been redesigned. There's a few different pieces that are coming together. And then the wallet should be released as soon as it's readily available. Ben mentioned it about a week ago that it was coming soon-ish. So, I don't know exactly what soon-ish means, but I assume it's something good. So I would consider that that's probably coming not too long from now. So I'd be watching out for that. Terra Luna Classic news. Do Kwon is being extradited to South Korea now. There's been a fundamental change in what's happened over there. Montenegro has denied his appeal to be extradited to South Korea. So he will be extradited to South Korea, where he is going to stand trial for what happened at Luna and Terra in that ecosystem. So that will affect the Terra Luna Classic price at some point. And in 4 days, on the 25th, Terra Luna Classic goes to court with the SEC. So there's it's coming at them from all different angles, and we'll see how they respond to it and what happens. As far as volume, Ethereum is now the king again. Ethereum is at 2.85 billion in volume. Solana dropped to 2.37 billion, but BSC is up to 1.7 billion. Arbitrum is 1.4 billion. Avalanche 412 million. Base is about to hit the top 5, 356 million. Thorchain 316 million. And these things ebb and flow, obviously, but there's a lot of different chains over here that are getting significant volume. Pulse Chain, by the way, 35 million in volume down here. So, they're as you go down here, you'll see some of these, continue to create opportunities for whatever it is that they do. Conflux, by the way, down to number 43 or up to number 43, whatever the case may be. So, but anyway, so let's move on from there. Let's look at some charts and try to figure out what in the absolute F is going on in the market, if you will. All right, so the U.S. market is on the cock, if you will. So what does it look like for the U.S. market? For the U.S. market, it looks like shit, just like the U.S. market would. You know what I mean? Yes, Sativa, I do, as a matter of fact. I was actually working on that last night. So Bitcoin just gave you an entry signal, though. 67,316 is your entry position for Bitcoin on the 1 hour with high IQ. So I would be looking at an entry position right now. However, I don't know how the U.S. market is going to respond. So it gave you 67.3. Get in right now. It's coming down just a little bit. In fact, God damn it. Where could I? No, I'm just gonna let it ride. I'm on some alts. And by the way, educational content is what I was actually looking to do. So yeah, that's exactly what I was looking to do. So anyway, Bitcoin looks like it's on the run up. Let's put on our moving averages so that we get an idea. We're running along the 20 right now, bullish indicator. A bullish sign. The 50 is moving up to curl up over the 100. So it looks like the rally for Bitcoin is probably going to restart again. For Ethereum, let's get rid of that right there. We got an entry signal over here on high IQ. That entry signal was at 33.86. We're now sitting at 35.42. So it looks like we got a big kind of parabolic move towards that upside and already playing out pretty well. BNB maybe gave us a buy signal. No, buy signal still sitting over here, and we got a hard loss exit. So we don't have a confirmation of the buy signal on Binance, but I do think it's safe to say that Binance probably getting ready to start testing its all-time high. I get the sense that that's getting ready to happen. Solana, I went long on Solana yesterday. I got in, I want to say like right in this little range right here before noon. So it was, I want to say like right around here when it was at $1. It was at 169. And then it ran up to a 192. I cashed out at 190. And I was 100% profit, so why not? You know what I mean? Anytime you get 100% gain, I take the 100% gain. Render down 5%. This is a good correction, by the way. If you're looking at it from the move here, you got this is, by the way, this is a bearish indicator right here. You got a short listed at 11.15. And you're up 0.8% right now. So it could be that we're looking at bearish momentum on render. Be looking for a reversal to come soon. What you're seeing on render, by the way, is that's, you've kind of flatlined, if you will. And now you're just kind of trading in this slight little range right here. Very little volatility. If I were to pull up a Bollinger Band, I would imagine that it probably engulfs it with, let's see here. It's getting real tight right now. No, it's actually pretty wide. But it should be tightened up. Maybe if we're looking at it on a shorter time frame. Yeah, see, on a shorter time frame, it's really closed itself off. So now we're looking for a big move. This is expecting it to be bearish, by the way, but there's a big potential move right here to the downside for render, or it can reverse and start going crazy. API, I told you guys that I remain bullish on this. It absolutely ripped yesterday, and now it's consolidating in this range. It's also tightening up. There's something happening today, by the way, guys. If you look right here and you look on the 30 minutes, which is your trading window, you can see that everything is starting to tighten up. We're starting to tighten up really big here. Let's go to Volt. Volt's probably going to be tight. Yeah, Volt's going to be tight. Cardano, real tight on the Bollinger Bands. There's an explosive move getting ready to happen here, guys. I don't know which direction it's going to go. I'm looking at the 20 MA right here. We're down below the 20 MA on this move. We were at the top when it tightened up. This would mean this looks like it's going to be bearish. Like it looks like we're going to have some. Yep, and actually we're getting sell off right now. I don't know if it's going to get caught at the 20, but it looks like this is a bearish or potentially bearish move down here because you're getting the channel's closing up on all of these projects right now, but you're seeing this big sell-off happening in the U.S. market. U.S. market is working big time. There's a gap on the Dow Jones, and the NASDAQ are both ripping. So it looks like money's probably coming out of crypto in order to go into the standard markets, basically. Dogecoin, by the way, had a nice big rip yesterday, but again, closing out, the channel's closing right here. That actually looks like it's going to break to the upside. Arbitrum, same thing. Looks like it's breaking to the upside. This might be actually bullish when you start to break down a few of these. Cosmos is looking bullish, like it's going to break upside. Conflux, wow. Conflux is looking bullish, like it's going to break to the upside. Same thing with crypto.com. Dot looks like it's positive. It looks like there's just a flush of capital that, it could be that we're going to come down and we're going to start testing. If we look at liquidity, then you can see on the short time frame, there's not really a lot in one direction or another. But the big money right now sitting at 68,400 on the 3-day. On the 1 week, it looks like there's right there. I mean, guys, this is where we're headed. This is where all the money is. We're heading up. There's not a lot. We've swept all of this right here. So there's going to be some pockets of opportunity. 66,000, it looks like. We might dip down to 66,000 right here. We might even come down to 65. And it looks like it's 64. Like it's on the thousands right now. But it looks like we're ready for an absolute rip into 71,000 and to just annihilate some shorts. Remember, the longs got liquidated in heavy fashion over the last, I want to say, 4 days. They got liquidated pretty heavy. So I would think that we're about to have a reversal. And right now, this is the European market and the U.S. market just kind of clearing out their books for the day, and that we're about to see something happen. Now, I could also say that you might want to be nervous on that just a little bit because, again, Bitcoin buying has not been as robust as it could have been. So, that might affect the market overall. I don't think that it will. I think we're going to see everything kind of break to the upside today, but we're going to have to see it actually happen. But let's continue to move on here a little bit. FTM Phantom is in a descending channel. It's tightening up right here for a break. It looks like it's breaking to the downside. Most of these are going to break, by the way, upside. You know what I mean? This one looks positive right now. H bar looks like it's going to pump. Caspa is on the upside. Looks like it's ready for another pump. Lido broke out, and Lido broke out to the upside on its Titan channel. So that might be an indicator of what's getting ready to happen. Link just broke to the upside. So it looks like it looks like the momentum might end up being positive overall. As we come down here, we'll see a lot of that stuff. Now, remember, Duquan is now in Montenegro, and he's being extradited to South Korea and not USA. So you're seeing positive on Luna right now as it starts to rip up, looking to capture $1. Matic came down below $1 after a nice rip upwards to a high. What was the high over here? Oops. $1.29, rip back down to 99 cents. So, and MX, God damn it, MX is at over $4. It went all the way up to 411. MX, guys, you could have had MX. If you go back here and you really look at MX, I mean, Jesus Christ, like you've got to be loving if you're an MX holder. Just last year, like this thing was trading at 70 cents. Like it had dipped way down. Like Jesus Christ, it went absolutely bonkers, and now it's at just ripping and ripping and ripping. Optimum again. Now this looks like a bearish. This looks like it's going to break to the downside. It looks like it's testing the lower end of the Bollinger Band and it's starting to stretch it downward. So optimism might be a good opportunity to ape pretty soon. It's ranging kind of hot. Like if you look at where the parabolic move started happening from, like which is this spot right here, and it ran up here. You can see that it's kind of at the 5.0. It came down into the golden pocket twice now. It might. If you find a little more dip to it and you get down here back in this golden pocket one more time, like buy, and then just let it ride up to 430s or whatever it is again. You know what I mean? Pepe, I mean, Jesus Christ, like Pepe is just out of its mind right now. I got to turn off a Bollinger Band in order to even look at Pepe. That's how wild Pepe is. But I mean, look, all-time high all over again. Who would have ever thought that Pepe was going to go to that all-time high all over again? You know what I mean? Boost TS says, hey, Bleeves, is there any chance of a Ben debit card? The purpose of Ben is not debit cards. There's probably going to be some spending opportunity. Yes. I don't know for sure, but the purpose is mass adoption. So if that matters to mass adoption, then I think the answer to that would be yes. I mean, we're going to start with the Bitcoin wallet, and then from there, we'll see how that evolves as we get there. Remember the important thing is pro crypto candidacy, making sure that people you can go buy Bitcoin at a Bitcoin ATM at this point. And I hope you guys have seen those because if you haven't already, there are Bitcoin ATMs coming. For those of you that are sleeping under a rock, if you will, and haven't seen them, by the way, I got my fist pose. I'm going to post that with people, just drive people nuts over Ben. I'm going to have Ben on one side, me on the other, both holding fists up, and they're going to be like, get off his D, bro. But anyway, here you go. This is your Bitcoin. This is your Bitcoin. There it is. So basically, it's a Bitcoin ATM that's wrapped with Ben, and you can buy Ben on it. And I mean, that's pretty cool, right? That's part of mass adoption. People are going to know who Ben Armstrong is that don't know who Ben Armstrong is. What do you think that's going to do for the price of Bitcoin? I mean, as this stuff really starts to realize, Bitcoin price is going to go out of its mind. And even it doesn't even matter how much you fucking hate Ben Armstrong. It doesn't matter. It's gonna absolutely rip. And yeah, NWF New World. I have not been, by the way, I've not been offered an NWF shirt. So I was actually talking about using the logo, and they were like, cool. Or at least Cassie was like, cool. I'm like, you don't understand how this works. Like these guys are gonna have to say, hey, Bleeves, we want you to join the NWF. So, you know what I mean? Like as a correspondent, sure. But you know what I mean? I want the goddamn shirt. Anyway, Quant up 4%. Um, we'll see what this one looks like. Short stop loss. It looks like it's pumping. What is the market doing right now? Okay, so the market's getting a little bit wonky right now. There's some real volatility kind of sitting here. You can see it went up to 24, went down to it went up to 18 to 25. Like it's moving very, very aggressively right now. I think that 66,000 pocket is going to be that next that 66,000 is going to be the next play there on Bitcoin. That liquidity area that I told you guys about right there at 66,000, that's probably what's getting ready to happen. Looks like we've got that downside momentum. Now, if that happens, then I would say go long. You know what I mean? Because it still looks like we're on that rip. We're not. I don't think we got downside momentum, if you will. So I would say that if you get that rip down to 66,000, let's see what it looks like on the 1 hour. That's going to be the 100 MA. We're going to get a test of the 100 MA most probably, like right in that range. If that happens, then go for it. We're using this. Remember, I told you this was a resistance area. We're now using it as support, which does mean that we're probably going to have a big rip to the upside. And High IQ is saying 74,000 is the next big range. You can see that little yellow dash up here. You might not be able to see that, but you know what I mean? Isn't it odd that please? Oh shit. All right. So we got to stop and give CoinCheck a wrench. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. All right. So all right, here. Boom. There you go. All right. Now we got one. Now you got a wrench. All right. So it looks like we're gonna come down 66,000. After 66,000, probably reverses and starts to make its way back up. I would say that 68,000, which is representative of that resistance, 68,005 actually is your resistance zone right now. So we're gonna have to break through what really amounts to the big resistance level, which is right there. So that's going to be the spot that we're going to have to bust through. We bust through that, then we're good to go. But remember, long term, if we don't bust 68.5, we don't break through there, then most probably we're going to have a fight and we're going to end up downside because that'll mean the rally's over. We need to make sure that we're pushing our way through that. So, you know what I mean? But anyway, so that's going to be a wrap on it, guys. It's time for me to cut this out because I got some Chicago bearing to do. In the meantime, let's do this ad, and then I'm gonna get you guys out of here. If you will, hang around to the end of the ad, and make sure you hit the like button, by the way, and then leave a comment down below, and make sure again you hit that like button. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you continue to have a great day, and we'll see you soon. Oh, by the way, with an upgraded studio. Man, I should have been able to do that longer. Cryptonomy.finance just launched a research section, so make sure that you go check that out today. Learn a little bit more about crypto that you may not have known before. If you are a corporate client, you can have a relationship manager and a lot of customer support, superior OTC services, and institutional tools that will help you in your venture. Also, if you sign up for the VIP course, you can get in touch with high-touch wealth management personnel and a lot of different people and personalized information as you need in order to successfully navigate this crypto system. Also, if you look at my moves right now, you can see that I'm earning over 106 Solana on my last staking. My Tether, I'm going to earn 1,670 on my staking so far. You can see there's some of these I've earned $784. I can't cash out for a while, but I've earned $784 so far. And then in the launch pool, guys, if you haven't checked the launch pool out, you've got to check the launch pool. Look at these ROIs that I'm getting right now. It's fantastic. 20 8x on K9 Finance, 7x on Weave, on Block Jerk. If you put a stake into this system right here, it gives you